So for Willow's penultimate episode, they decided to do some filler, which, that's kind of expected for the penultimate episode of anything, really. So there's a little bit of adventure at the opening. They have to cross the shattered sea. Yeah. And what do you mean shattered? Well, there's just hardly any water to it. It's just a long stretch of property that's sort of damp. And they come across this cabin, and there's a mysterious old man in there. And, of course, surprise, he's a feral in disguise. But only Flash Thompson figures it out some kind of way. Anyway, oh, no. But there's like a stagecoach wagon inside the cabin. And then Flash Thompson says, "Hey, everybody, get on it." And he starts slapping the reins, and there's a sea monster underneath that pulls the wagon, because no horses or even wheels, but it's got little sleds on it. So anyway, off they go, and they're being chased by the Cenobites again, and they got to fight them and all that. And but the thing about the Shattered Sea, it's kind of like the lava field they went through, which I get wasn't lava at all; it was water and stuff. Oh, geez, I'm getting ahead. Yeah, of course, Elora Danan saved Princess Kit from drowning in the lava water thing, whatever that was. Turns out it was actually a portal to the immemorial city where her brother's trapped. And he almost saw her, and he was like, they almost touched. But then Elora, her mojo struck, and she was able to free Princess Kit from the lava water thing. And that's when her hair turned its natural color. So she's almost back, I guess. Oh, she's in full control of her. Well, she's not in control of her powers yet. But so they suddenly realized, oh, crap, yeah, the kid was redheaded in the movie. So, she's got red hair now. So there you go. See, that's how they solved that. So they're being chased by the Cenobites later. And fight. And, of course, they win and all that. So after all that, they decide to stop and take a break because their little sea monster mud creature, I guess, I don't know, they're walking on the surface, and yet this creature is able to swim through it and pull their wagon thing. And so that day, well, it's all magic, It's seemingly huge because it's pulling that thing, and you see its head every now and then. It comes up to eat worms from Flash Thompson and get petted by him and all that. So, and speaking of Flash Thompson's, another thing was revealed. Turns out he's a sorcerer too. Yes, he has magic. Just all of a sudden we discovered that. He carried a flute with him, and he now it's his wand. And his zaps out purple light stuff, whereas Elora's is green, like Green Lantern. And so there you go, and purple and green go together, huh? Yeah. And he professes his love for her later on. There is some training between her and Willow, so there is that. And I got to admit, I keep making the comparisons with Star Wars and Last Jedi and all that stuff. And, of course, it's very easy to do because a lot of the templates are still there. It's just Willow gets a better deal than Luke Skywalker got, even though he's a supporting character in his own show that's named after him. But he does get to actually train Elora here. And also with Flash Thompson there being basically the Finn of the story, he actually gets to be revealed as magic too, whereas they teased that he was a Force wielder in Star Wars, and then just left it on the cutting room floor for whatever reason. So, Ray, I got to tell you something. What? Well, I guess we never find out. So anyway, but yeah, Flash Thompson has wizard powers, and so he confesses his love to Elora, and she's like, oh. And so then there's a lot of professing of feelings and what they mean to each other throughout the show. And then after that, they profess their feelings for each other again. And then later on, they profess their feelings for each other. Oh, by the way, the lesbian couple, Well, they're lesbians, which means they're two women who are sexually attracted to each other and have a romance and that sort of thing. Well, it turns out they're lesbians and they're in love with each other and they're sexually attracted to one another and they make out. So, in case you didn't know, that was revealed in this episode too. So, after a whole show of that, they come to the end of the Shattered Sea and discover it ends in a giant waterfall. Don't know how that's possible because there's hardly any water in the Shattered Sea, but it's just draining off like Niagara Falls on the edge. And they're like, oh no, we've failed and what have you. And Laura cries and this can't be the end and all that stuff. And then Princess Kit decides, it can't end here. And they both decide the only way to finish the journey is to leap off the cliff, which I thought they were going to reveal that it's all an illusion and that suddenly they would find themselves at the borders of the city, you know. But no, they drop and land in the water, and then they come up out of the water, and suddenly there they are, and there's the city. Okay. Well, it's all magic, you know, so it doesn't really matter. That's the cool thing about magic. You don't have to explain jack squat. So there you are. And in between all the profession of feelings and stuff, and Borman all frustrated that he can't get the magic armor to work, stuff like that, and Willow feeling bad because he left his family behind and that he's a fraud and everything, and oh, what a phony he turned out to be, huh? Yeah, all that stuff. We got scenes of Prince Eric trapped in the Memorial City in his Jim Morrison suit and hanging out with the mystery girl. Gee, I wonder who the mystery girl could be. Well, she's the crone in disguise. They don't flat out reveal it, but it's pretty obvious. She plays hard to get at first, but you know what that means, especially in soap operas. When a man and woman seemingly hate each other, that means they're going to do the deed. And, well, they don't exactly do the deed, but they do end up making out. And then it becomes obvious. She says, you know, I'm the one who brought you here. And he's like, what? And he's too weak now to get away. And it turns out the weird-looking orange water that he's been drinking was not Sunkist, but some sort of solution that's changing him and stuff. And, of course, it's the crone doing it all. And at the end, he says, I'll do whatever you want, and all that sort of crap. So anyway, Princess Kit and Laura get there, and then the door opens up, and here comes Prince Eric, all dressed in black with a fresh new haircut, which means he's evil, I guess. And he's all grinning with his sword. And so I guess he's going to have to fight his sister in order to kill his girlfriend, Elora. There you go. And he did it all for the crown. Yeah. So that's the great setup for the final conflict for next week's episode, which the good news is it's the final episode. There you go. You're all caught up. I didn't recognize the pop song, but it was a pop song. Plus, they played one in the middle of the show when Laura was training, and then the two lesbians decided they needed to sword fight too. Which they did. But they did it to this music. And then Laura starts zapping Flash Thompson because now that she discovered he's magic, so he has to train with his flute. And that's what they did. Not the way he would have rathered, I'm sure, but nevertheless, there it is. All right, just one more. Just one more. But still, the little details here and there about how bad this is, but it still does at least a better job than Last Jedi. Which is just hilarious. Every now and then, there's little things I said, you know, in the right hands, you could have made this work and that, but it's too late. And the sad thing is, nobody cared. Nobody did.